Hi, I'm Hugh, and today we're going to be talking about the Manosphere. Now, odds are, if you're a single man, you've encountered it. What is it? Well, the Manosphere is a bunch of guys on social media who are all for the betterment of men. And how do they do that, you might ask? By hating women. Or not so much hating them as just recognizing them as lesser, or just not even seeing them as human beings. So, misogyny basically, but with like a modern spin on it. They mainly target lonely men, TikTok being their biggest platform by far because they just allow anything on TikTok, really. It's super easy to get sucked into a tornado of toxic masculinity, and I have to admit that I myself have been targeted and also just like sucked into it. I mean, a lot of the men, the biggest figures in the Manosphere, have very shiny heads, and it's really easy to get mesmerized by it. It's just like, what do they use to get it so shiny? So for this video, I made a fresh TikTok account and I timed myself to see how quickly I could get into not only the Manosphere, but the alt-right pipeline, which is kind of like the next step after you get into the Manosphere. So here's my fresh account, Hank Hugh Man. I had to stick the word man in there to let TikTok know that I like men. I mean, I love men. No, I love being a man. That's it. Then I looked up bearded man in his 40s and I just chose the first picture that was on Google. So the first 15 minutes were pretty basic, and it served as a reminder as to why I deleted TikTok in the first place. Besides the rampant sexism and racism on the platform, a lot of the stuff just really isn't that funny. I would spend hours scrolling because I was addicted to TikTok. And I would only find like one or two funny things in hours of scrolling. And when I came to that realization, I was like, I'm not really getting much out of this app. After a little while, I decided to boost my chances a little bit. And by doing that, I went to, I looked up fitness. I just typed in fitness. And I made sure to like a couple fitness videos, but I had very strict criteria for what I was allowed to like. Because I didn't want to, because a lot of fitness content, not a lot of it, but some of it is very anti-woman. Like, oh, avoid women. If you date women, you're going to lose gains. So I made sure not to like anything like that. It was purely videos of dudes flexing or lifting weights or just very basic workout advice. After that, I found that I was getting a little bit more quote unquote manly content. I was getting a lot more football related stuff because the algorithm now knew that I liked fitness to a certain extent. So I started liking the football posts. Some of them were actually pretty funny. I have no interest in football myself. I'm not a footballer. But yeah, it was just it was all right. I feel like the people that like football and the people that practice toxic masculinity, the Venn diagram for that's basically a circle. So I felt like I was on the right track by liking some football content. Not to say there aren't great people that watch football stuff. You can enjoy what you want to enjoy. But now I'm not going to go through every single video I liked on my account, but I will pause and show you a couple of notable ones. The first one I thought was going to put me on the right track was this video of people just being frozen in the hallway. I think it was a challenge that was like popular when TikTok first started, but it's very frat and college behavior, and frat houses and college are kind of breeding grounds for toxic masculinity and misogyny. So I was like, okay, like that. But, you know, it's a fine video. It has nothing to do with what this video is about, but I'll show you a clip of it. Also, I'd like to mention that I'm going to put the timestamps for how long I had been on TikTok. Like I'll show you how long my TikTok account had been active and I'd been scrolling up until that point, so that you can kind of see how quickly I shot down this pipeline. And spoiler alert, it was kind of quick. So with this video, I was like 5 minutes into scrolling. So I was like, all right, I'm already getting football and fitness and all this stuff. Next one, I felt like I should mention was this one where it's like, oh, and I'm helping your boy get her girl back. And this dude's outside with the boombox. I like this because it solely just has to do with relationships. Anytime I saw any relationship stuff, I just hit like. So this one's about a guy getting a girl back. So I was like that. That tells TikTok that I'm interested in relationship stuff, which 99% of the manosphere is bad relationship advice. So it's like that's the ticket to get there. Then we had a little bit of like a break, about like 10 minutes, and then I stumbled upon this video by this guy who apparently, according to my roommate, was on the Jersey Shore, and the whole video is him on the phone he's not actually talking to anybody, but the sound is a woman on the phone just like screaming at her boyfriend about something. So it's him just like nonchalantly going about his day while his girlfriend is yelling at him, because women like to yell, right? I guess, I don't know. But yeah, so this was a very notable, very popular video by a verified creator about relationships. So obviously I had to like it, and it kind of paints women in like a negative light a little bit. This is very lighthearted this isn't a bad one. We'll get there.
I have called you 5 fucking times. 5 times. This is the shit that pisses me off. I don't want to hear you had your fucking ringer off because you already know how that situation goes. If I call you, you don't fucking answer. That's the shit that pisses me off. Now if it was a fucking emergency, you got your fucking ringer off and you can't hear shit.
Then we got hit with a bit of a drought. There was a good 20 minutes where I was scrolling and it was just basic, very basic content, like just funny stuff. And I was kind of like losing hope. Like, oh man, like I guess maybe it isn't that easy. Like I know I could do this. My goal was to do it under an hour. And at this point we're at like the 30-40 minute mark, and I'm just like, oh god, like maybe we're not gonna do it. And then I saw this video.
When you didn't get no action last night.
Good morning, baby.
What's good, bro? You having a good morning? Alright then. What's good? Stay up, blood.
Haha, get it? Because if your partner doesn't have sex with you, they're basically just your roommate, and you should treat them as such. Also, this man's being entirely too extra. I assume the woman is in on it, like it's a scripted thing, like most content on TikTok. But like, there are a few frames in this where you see her and she's like, all right, chill, like goddamn. But yeah, he's just like basically tossing her around and being aggressive with her because she didn't have sex with him. At this point, that was the ticket to the manosphere, because every other video after this was relationship advice, and it was vaguely just like manosphere stuff. It's like a lot of the littler fish in the pond were coming out of the woodwork. Coming out of the pond? Coming out of the water? Coming out of the water. And so I was starting getting advice from people being like, women, they ain't loyal. They're cheating on you. And this is about at the 50-minute mark. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm actually doing this. I might get, like, I'm kind of dipping my foot into the water of the manosphere at this point. I'm like, can I make it under an hour? Let's see. I also got this golden video, this absolutely enlightening video that I want to show to you.
Ever notice how after a breakup, the loyal one stays single and deals with the damage, while the one who didn't care is already in a new relationship?
Have you ever noticed that when you poo, you have to pee, but when you pee, you don't have to poo? Makes you think. So that one was kind of like funny. It was very like, oh, pseudo philosophical, but then we started... I have to give a content warning because it gets dark from this point forward. It's not gonna be like, I tried to script this video and be like, oh, lighthearted, haha, manosphere. It's a serious topic, but I tried to like poke fun at it. But After an hour of scrolling, I started to get the most depressing stuff ever. So content warning from here on forward. It's just gonna like, it's not like shock material or like anything disturbing. It's just so sad that it might genuinely make your day worse just by listening or watching this. So warning there.
Who do you call when you are at your lowest? Who is that one person?
Nobody. I'm a man. No one cares. Not a single soul. Nobody.
No one. Because I'm all alone.
I think I speak for a lot of people when I say I don't call anyone.
Nobody. I'm a guy. Nobody gives a shit.
Speaking for the guys when I say this, literally no one.
Do y'all call someone?
Nobody. It's just nobody. I don't know so nobody. You guys.
No one. I'm a man. No one cares.
No one. Not a single fucking person.
I wouldn't call anyone. I wouldn't turn to a single person on this earth because they don't care. They will just find a way to use it against me one day.
We can call somebody?
Now that was a lot. I know. And my only response really is go to therapy. Like, holy shit, dude. Most men, I don't understand why they're so adverse to therapy. I understand it kind of like has a stigma about it where it's like, oh, I'm less of a man because I got to talk to someone. It's like, it's better you go and talk to a professional than you bottle that shit up. And then like when you're 45, you're just, you blow up at a Wendy's cashier because they fucking got your order wrong. Like, holy shit, people. Men will be like, I have no one to talk to. And then you're like, why don't you go to therapy? And they're like,
ew, no, what? Gross.
Like, then shut the fuck up then. That's really it. Go get help or don't. If help is available, and sometimes help isn't available, you live in a rural area where there's not really much access to therapy. But if even then, there's online places to go to, there's online counseling. There is no excuse in 2022 to not seek some sort of professional mental health as a man or as a woman or anybody. Like, really anybody can. It's not okay to just, like, if you're alone, go talk to somebody about it and they can help you solve your loneliness, or at the very least get your emotions out so that you don't like put holes in your wall. Holy shit. At this point in the experiment, every single video on my For You page was women hating content. Like, oh, stay away from women, they're bad. Oh, if you're dating a woman and she isn't completely subservient to you, you're gonna have a bad time. And it's like, okay, well, here we go. We're fully in it. But despite that, I had a checklist of notable figures in the manosphere that I wanted to see on my For You page. And we have yet to hit any of them so far. But that is about to change. Next thing I'm going to show you, I need a genuine trigger warning for. Like, trigger warning, self-game overing. Now, this literally ruined my day when I saw it. I was just like, this is horrendous. Not because of what it was on the screen, more because this is someone's genuine perspective and belief in this world. This is somebody painstakingly made this, and it was unironic. I hope it was ironic, but something tells me it's not. So here we go. Now, I was genuinely speechless after I saw that. Like, how is that allowed on TikTok? It is insane that that is allowed on TikTok. The worst part about it, though, it has 2.7 million likes. 2.7 million people watched that and liked it. On the lower end, maybe some of those people were liking it because of how shocking and crazy it was that it was on TikTok. But I'd say a majority of that is probably people who believe in that perspective, which, holy shit. Oh my God. Go to therapy. Holy shit. That video was so bad that, like, here's a video of a kitten. You need a palate cleanser after that. Here's a kitten. And yep. No commentary about that. It's just a kitten. How cute. Wow. So cute. I love it. That sounded sarcastic. No, genuinely, here's a cute video of a kitten. So moving right along on this jolly adventure, we hit our first milestone, our first check in the checklist. And that was to see a Kevin Samuels video. For those of you who don't know, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, really, but Kevin Samuels, who recently died last year, I believe, he made his career out of belittling women, specifically belittling black women, making it seem like every problem they ever have in their life are only theirs. And to a certain extent, yeah, sometimes you have to accept some responsibility, but holy shit, like, sometimes it's a little extra. Basically blaming women for having sex, saying that women that have sex in their 20s are basically just like used up, and equating them to just like items, which is a very common theme in the manosphere, is equating women to objects. But yeah, it's just so, here we go. Here's our first Kevin Samuel video.
The man said he liked you.
Yes.
And he dated you for a month.
Yes.
How long before you were intending to have sex with him? He's 30 years old. He's not a virgin. Ballpark it for me.
Maybe 2 months in.
Did you tell him that?
No, but I told him I had bad experiences with men in the past.
Well, there you go. Ding, 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 ding. Making a man in your present pay for stuff in your past equals no future.
But it is part of my...
Your problem.
No, it's like a trauma, right? So...
Okay, due respect, your problem. The world doesn't owe you and me understanding. Come out, put your big girl panties on, and grow up. Please tell me you're addressing your trauma with a professional therapist. Exactly.
This next one isn't on my checklist, but I thought it was very funny the way this man was dressed, because he looked like he was in an 80s hair metal band that was magician themed. This man just was talking about how women have too much sex in their 20s, and then in their 30s they're like, where'd all the good guys go? It's like, okay. All right. Sure. Because I'm certain men have never fucked up a relationship sexually. That's not true. They couldn't do that.
We're all the good guys. We're all the nice guys. But they were left back in your 20s when you didn't want to sort of put a bet on a guy who had some potential, and now you're kind of out at 33, 34, as far as your selection is concerned. Meanwhile, men at about 30 are on their ascent to their sexual market value peak, because it takes longer for a man to achieve the things that makes him maximally attractive and maximally arousing.
Then, he who shall not be named reared his shiny little head.
So the women who go to the man, marry me or I'm leaving. They're done. Then why the f*** you married him? She's already given you conditions to keep the relationship. If a woman truly loves you and you sit there and say, look, I've been around the world. I'm about it. I know things you don't know. Signing that piece of paper is bad for me. It's also bad for you. It's bad for business. Shut the f*** up.
If you don't know who this guy is, boy, do I envy you. This is Andrew Tate. He is basically the king of the manosphere. He was everywhere for a hot minute. Now, he kind of still does exist very much on the internet, but he's been deplatformed off of everything. The only people that post his videos on TikTok are just his followers, all the people that subscribe to his like get rich quick scheme. And after he was deplatformed, he famously went on Fox News and talked about how he actually loves women and that he never was sexist. He just was playing a character, which is something a lot of people do. Alex Jones is very famous for that. So once he showed up once, literally every other video was about him. Also, hey, Schneeko's here. Another checklist. That was really it. I don't want to talk about him. I was going to call it right there and say this experiment was only a partial success because I didn't really get into the alt-right pipeline. Like, Andrew Tate is definitely alt-right adjacent. Like, he's a grifter for the right for sure. But no blatant alt-right content came onto my feed until I swiped for 20 more minutes and was met with this gem. So yeah, I did a frontside 180 into the Manosphere and kick-flipped my way right into the alt-right pipeline. In under 2 hours, I might add. It's very upsetting to say, but this experiment was a success. I'm a leftist through and through. I've literally owned this since I was 16 and I've read it a handful of times. But still, I was getting served a lot of conservative and a lot of Manosphere content, like just across the board, like and at first when I was on TikTok, I've been on TikTok for a couple years now, using it every single day. And like, I would just scroll past whenever I'd see a Manosphere video, but it got to the point where, especially when Andrew Tate was really taking over the internet, it was every other video was him. So I had to resort to just like blocking accounts that would post his stuff anytime it would come up on my For You page. But even then, it would only cause it to go away for a short amount of time, and to the point in which, like, a couple of weeks later, I'd have to block more accounts because it was kind of like a Hydra. Like, every time you block one page, 5 more show up. So I just ended up deleting TikTok altogether because I was just like, I don't like what this is doing to my subconscious. I don't like being fed this very gross stuff. Like, all I gotta say is, be careful what you consume online. It's super easy when you're in a very low place in life, like you just went through a breakup or you're in the dumps financially. It's very easy to hear what these morons have to say and pick out little gems of wisdom in there, because they do use like very common sense wording with their stuff. They go, oh, well, this is a problem. This problem can happen if you're with a woman. So therefore, the woman is the sole reason for this problem, forgetting that life is complicated and there's never really only one cause or one thing that causes something to happen. So yeah, just be careful what you consume online. It's very easy to get sucked into this, especially if you're in a lowered place mentally. And frankly, go to therapy. Like, holy shit, go to therapy. It's so, if you can't go to a physical therapist, look online. There's so many different services for online therapy. Go do it. Binging Suey Fuel is not going to make you better. It's going to make you sadder. Go to therapy, talk about it with your therapist, maybe even show them some of the stuff you consume like on TikTok and have their opinion on it. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching to this point if you did. Social media and everything down in the description. Until next time, peace out.